Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
So after the ceremony, you have to sign the roll. We will do so in the order in which you are seated, because the names have been arranged in a particular order, and that will be at the tent behind you. There's a smaller tent that at the end. Then we will exit through this other gate this side. The names on your certificates are as they appear in your degree certificate. So for the sake of uniformity, we decided we'll adopt the names as they appear in your degree certificate. So if they appear differently, then you can ask that we change the certificate, but please don't tell us to alter the names otherwise than as they appear in your degree certificate. The certificates can. So the certificates will be ready within the next 14 days. So you will not collect them today. You will just sign the roll, and we will prepare the certificates so that they are ready for collection within 14 days. The reason being that we want the names that we forward to LSK are the names that will appear in your certificates. Previously, we have prepared certificates before the admission, and the problem is some of you didn't show up, and then we had to reorder the names. You have already been given a P105 number, and then you don't show up. So for that reason, we will forward the names to LSK only for those that we will have admitted today. So the CJ and the other guests will be here shortly, and we will start the program. And let me remind again, after the first group takes the oath, you will pass the Bibles to the person behind you as quickly as possible so that we don't waste a lot of time. Let's all be stand up and standing for the national anthem.
Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike, umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
We may be seated. My lady, the Honorable the Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, a representative of the Office of the Attorney General, representatives of the Office of the DPP, the President, Law Society of Kenya, the DCRJ of the Judiciary, and all distinguished guests. My lady, this morning, before you are petitioners. They have petitioned you for admission to the bar. Initially, we received 225 petitions, and this morning we have confirmed on the course list that we have 222 who have attended, and they are before you ready for admission. So for the petitioners, I will call your name, and when I call your name, you say, "Present, my lady," and you be up and standing so that the Chief Justice can confirm that you are present before she proceeds to admit you. I'll start at the back so that we are able to see everyone's face. Odong Rogers, is absent. Natasha Nyangara Gatungo. Hilda Andeso Obiri. Marwa Abdikarim Mohamed. George John Kamau Gishimu. George John Kamau Gishimu. Brian Ocheng Obama. Brian Ocheng, not present. You remain standing, kindly, for those that I have called. Olala Vincent Mumeli. Dhambu Timothy Mutai. Barak Hamid Barak. William Madenge. Apollo Mayeya Bunyasi. Okemwa Ian Nyanchoka. Sandra Wendo Rugaita. Kevin Ochonga Omwanza. Bada Cynthia Chitala. Alex Maina Washira. Cairo Ivory Mukami. Jedida Silantoi Leriano. Gakanga Kelvin Gishuki. Mariam Tinga. John Kamau Mutahi. Dominic Kamau Wanderi. Kirima Ivy Wangoi. Jacqueline Naiserian Nkuruma. Cherotich Naomi Rotich. Aviv Kaviza Kinyanjui. Onyango Odhiambo Raymond. Machuka Merilina Mora. Tumbo Gesare. Sangaka Edith Kerubo. Lorraine Sibika Amaswache. Gaudenzia Kedogo. Kanini Anita. Hadija Wanyama. Chelangat Fancy. Diane Piba Koki. Njihia Nelson Karumba, Sharon Otira, Irene Wangu Kalu, Wangoi Tatenda Lucia, Ivin Duta Kiru, Mwatondo Said Athumani, Christabel Atieno Ogola, Fatuma Halkano Huka, Njoroge Avin Gishuki, Imran Mwangi Said, Eric Munene, Lydia Moranya Enya, Maureen Nyatichi Matoke, Anthony Wanjohi Gitome, Stephen Otieno Adier, Chris Kimathi Mutugi, Morrison Shikola Mukonyi, Wanjala Fabian Haemba, Alex Mbondo Watuka, Faith Cherono, Nzaro Chai Kelvin, Gerald Biria Wasi, Yvonne Kavesa Imbosa, Otaro Ondara Timothy, Rogers Kiplimo Ngelese, Anthony Mutuku Mutunga, Moses Gadogo Kiduo, Jane Maximila Weyimi, Aiko Peris Kwamboka, Viona Matabori Nyacheo, Wilson Wahome Andahi, Michelle Valentine Owor, Murithi Ngure, Edwin Kabu Nyantokora, Lois Wanjiru Muhari, Asio Michelle Debra, Kiama Evelyn Wamboi, Yambasa Kembu Ignatius, Wilberforce Onyango Odhiambo, Maliti Cynthia Mokenge, Midikila Iviona, Kabue Sharon Wamushi, Francis Musana, Nathan Christopher Wayaki, Beatrice Njoki Chege, William Kathuku Mutua, Alusa Francis Shem, Gadoni Majori Njeri, Wafula Mushuma Linda, Diamond Babetu Amutavi, Diamond Mabea Nyakiambaria, Naliaka Stefani Refa, Franklin Kipkorir Kosgei, Franklin, Grace Mukonyo Kala, Maureen Kerubo, Gichabe Sera Nandako, Lilian Musonge Nerima, Juliet Muhonja Oriko, Bridget Atieno Olo, Petroba Micheka Omwenga, Vincent Otieno Mboya, Edward Maingi Maluki, Sharon Chepkemoi Kimutai. Nyabuto Nyarangi Masi, Evans Mwarabu Maganga, Peris Wangari Mudhe, Kezia Wairimu Ndegwa, Charity Wangu Masharia, Kimberly Atieno Otieno, Sharon Jebkogei Chirchir, Lydia Ayecha Amihanda, Moses Onyego Oirere, Lisamadi Dixon Kandia, Christine Kerubo Arasa, Brenton Malika Okubasu, Harriet Kajuju Gitonga, Regina Ngina Mwanzia, Owino Valentine Onduru, Nyongesa Naliaka Vivian, Cherop Cheryl, Maureen Chesai Nakokwon, Gertrude Wangoi Ndurumo, Nelson Gishuki Mwai, Pravin Omondi Bosad Odio, Jennifer Karimi Ntere, Vincent John Kisukwa, Aaron Mongaka Kiluva, Elisha Ondek Basil, Wanyonyi Nelly Kalenda, Wanyonyi Nelly Kalenda, Maureen Nyaituga, Fabian Murimi Mba, Lea Wamboi Mudhe, Sami Kalama Wakacha, Patricia Wangeshi Ngacha, Dorothy Kemunto Moturi, Mburu Kariuki George, James Wanganga Wanini, Lewis Ndungu Madhu, Jessica Mwiti Kinya, Cecilia Tabitha Odwor, Moses Makau Matuvi, Odera Merishila Alwoch, Masi Ooro Otieno, Diana Njeri Muigai, Days Gadhoni Mbugwa, Ngetich Benson Kipkirui, Purity Nyawira Mwinja, Peter Scott Mutua, Mary Mokua Mochoge, Sally Ayuma Savala, Cynthia Cherotich, Bramwell Kennedy Akotsi, Akinyi Molombo Brenda, Abel Bet Kipngetich, Ativa S. Eric, Beatrice Kamwende Maura, Daisy Jepchumba Rotich, Frederick Obiero Wino, Helena Diambo Keta, Nelly Jepkemboi Rotich, Owino Doc Cephas, Purity Njeri Wangigi, Caroline Siomiti Nzuki, Anthony Gishui Gakungu, Eunice Elizabeth Matanu, Laureen Cherono Tonui, Jael Akiny Onyango, John Kiplagat Chemungas, Betty Wanjiku Kingara, Wandera Paul Paris, Derrick Odhiambo Owor, Nerea Rabote Ojongo, Maina Kwamboka Ven, Odwor Odete Philip, Josephine Mino Kimeu, Frederick Njihia Kahara, Lance Kipkoech Serem, Emonde Nina M, Ndolo Angela Mwelu, Enoch Chisengo, Lucy Wanja Muradhi, Paul Mushai Gitau, Henry Muli Nzuki, Peter Njanja Misheni, Gibson Kabue Madenge, Owor Steve Jerry, Mary Gadhoni Mugwe, Busena Rogers Mudembei, Prudence Adhiambo Ocheng, Emelda Nyanduko Bosire, Yusuf Abdinur, Orero Lilian Olivia, Mark Lewis Washira Gituta, Mark Lewis Washira Gatuta, Asule Franklin, Eunice Wamboi Kabiru, Jebet Yegon, Matoroki Debra Nyanduko, Kennedy Mureithi Kagiri, Alice Wamboi Kimodo, Brenda Akinyi Osuru, Brenda Acheng Ongalo, Jacinta Naliaka Wekesa, Steve David Kipruto, Doreen Murugi Karuga, Rael Muyoka Kataka, Maureen Jelagat Bogoria, Michelle Kemuma Omoyo, Joyce Awino Owiti, Masi Wanja Gatumu, Masi Wanja Gatumu, not present, Mark Kiprono Kemei, Collins Kipsang Kigen, and Irene Cherop Masit. My lady, those are the ones who have attended today's hearing of their petitions. Now we will take the oath. I'll ask those that have the Bibles and the Quran to remain standing from number 1 to 40. Then from number 1 to number 140. Then from number 141 to 222 to remain seated. So let's take the oath. I do swear by the Almighty God that I will at all times uphold the rule of law and the administration of justice, and that without fear or favor, I will well and truly discharge my duties as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. So help me God. Thank you. You be seated. Please pass the Bibles to the person behind you. So the other group can be up and standing once you have your Bible. Once you have your Bible or the Quran or the Gita, for those who profess that faith, you hold the Bible in your right hand and the oath, and you do. So help me God. Thank you. You may be seated, and now sign the oath. Okay, so I hope you've signed the oath unless your signature is too long. You therefore need more time. If you've done so, I'll request that you be up and standing as I welcome the Honorable the Chief Justice to make the order admitting you.
I, Martha Karambu Koome, Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, being satisfied as to your qualifications, service, and moral fitness, do hereby order that you, Irene Masit, Collins Kigen, Mark Kemei, Joyce Owiti, Michelle Omonyo, Maureen Bagoria, Rael Kataka, Doreen Moronge Karuga, Steve Kipruto, Jacinta Wekesa, Brenda Ongaro, Brenda Osu, Aris Kimodo, Kennedy Kagiri, Motaroki Nyanduko, Jebet Yogon, Eunice Kabiru, Asule Franklin, Matthews Gatudha, Olero Olivia, Yusuf Abdinu, Imeonda Nyanduko Bosile, Prudence Ochieng, Busena Mundebei, Mere Mogwe, Owo Gere, Gibson Mathenge, Peter Janja Misheni, Henry Nzuki, Paul Getau, Ruse Mwavi, Enoch Sisengo, Doro Mweru, Emonde Nina, Rance Selem, Frederick Kahara, Josephine Kimeu, Oduo Philip, Maina Kwamboka, Neria Onjongo, Derek Owo, Wandera Peris, Betty Kingara, John Shemgas, Jael Onyango, Lawrence Tonoi, Eunice Mutanu, Anthony Kakungu, Caroline Nzuki, Purity Wanjigi, Owino Shepash, Nere Rotich, Henry Keita, Frederick Owino, Daisy Rotich, Beatrice Mwaura, Ativa Eric, Ebo Kipngetich, Akinyi Breda, Bramwell Akotsi, Cynthia Serotich, Sare Savaria, Mere Mushoge, Peter Scott Mutua, Purity Mwinja, Nyetich Kipkuri, Daisy Bogwa, Diana Moigai, Mase Otieno, Odero Oruoch, Moses Matuvi, Cecilia Oduo, Jessica Kinya, Rewis Mathu, James Wanini, Boro George, Dorothy Muturi, Patricia Ngasha, Same Wakashara, Lea Mudhe, Stephen Bogo, Michelle Apio, Eunice Katira, Mase Makira, Brian Kimathi, Kristanse Kojienda, Aman Joga, Nzomo Munani, Quinta Atieno, Nzuki Kamwere, Tracy Odhiambo, Nyakundi Kemunto, Brenda Atieno, Jack Kadhaiga, Frida Nyachoka Nyasani, Renin Okoth, Bruce Barry, Fabian Mulemi Bae, Maureen Nyaituga, Wanyonyi Karende, Erisha Basil, Aaron Kiruva, Vincent Kisukwa, Jennifer Ntere, Pravin Odio, Nelson Mwai, Gertrude Darumo, Maureen Kokwon, Cherop Shelel, Nyongesa Vivian, Owino Ondulu, Regina Mwansia, Ariet Gitonga, Brenton Okubasu, Christine Arasa, Risamandi Kandia, Moses Oriere, Rindia Amnanda, Sharon Shirishil, Kimbare Otieno, Charity Masharia, Kesia Ndegwa, Paris Mudhe, Evans Maganga, Nyambuto Masi, Sharon Kimutai, Edward Maruki, Vincent Boya, Patroba Mishiaka Omwega, Bridget Olo, Lilian Musonge Nerima, Nkishabe Nandako, Maureen Kirubo, Grace Kara, Franklin Koske, Nadia Karepa, Mabea Nyakiambaria, Diamond Amtavi, Wafura Rinda, Gadhoni Njeri, Arusha Shem, William Mutua, Beatrice Shege, Nathan Wayaki, Francis Mushana, Kabwe wa Moshie, Midikira Viona, Marite Mukene, Wilberforce Odhiambo, Yambasa Kembu Ignatius, Kiama Evelyn Wamboi, Asion Debra, Royce Muhari, Edwin Nyadhongora, Murevi Ngure, Michelle Owo, Wilson Andahi, Vion Nyachieo, Aiko Kwamboka, Jane Wenyimi, Moses Githuo, Anthony Mutunga, Rogers Gerese, Otaro Timothy, Yvonne Imbosa, Gerard Wasi, Nzaro Kelvin, Faith Sherono, Alex Watuka, Wanjara Kahemba, Marion Mukonyi, Chris Mutungi, Steve Andia, Anthony Wanjoy Gitome, Maureen Matoke, Rindia Nyaenda, Eric Munene, Imran Said, Joroge Gishuki, Fatuma Huka, Christabel Ogora, Mwatondro Adhumani, Ivren Kilu, Wangoi Rusia, Irene Karu, Sharon Otia, Jeia Karumba, Diana Koki, Sharangai Fancy, Andija Wanyama, Kanini Anita, Gaudensia Kidogo, Lorraine Amawashe, Sangaka Kirubo, Tumbe Gisale, Mashuka Mura, Onyango Raymond, Aviv Kenyanjui, Rotich, Jacqueline Kurumwa, Kirema Wangoi, Dominic Wanderi, John Kamau Mutai, Mariam Tinga, Gakanga Kelvin, Jedida Rebiano, Kairo Mukami, Alex Washira, Mbadha Shitara, Kevin Omwansa, Chandra Rugaita, Okemwe, Nyashoka, Aporo Mbunyasi, William Mathenge, Balak, Dhambo Mutai, Orara Nimeri, George Geshimo, Marwa Muhammad, Heonda Obiri, and Natasha Gatuko. Be admitted as advocates of this honorable court. The honor is made.
That is so feeble. Can you shout and clap for yourself loud? You can now be seated. That is the order that you are waiting for. It is rare. That's one of the most important orders in your career, and probably one of the few that you will be clapping for. Some of them might not be so good for you to clap. Now, on days like this, we are normally favored by our seniors in the profession who are here to congratulate us and to also give us pieces of advice as we embark on our journey as advocates of the court. And today, we have quite a number. I know you can see them. I want to recognize the presence of council members of the LSK, representatives, wherever they are. You can just stand and wave to your people. The first one on the far left is the Vice President. If you don't know her, you will be. Thank you. You'll be seated. Next, I want to welcome the chair of the Nairobi branch of the Law Society of Kenya, who is also the chair of the branch caucuses, Mr. Eric Theuri, to just welcome you, congratulate you, and give you one or two pieces of advice. Mr. Theuri, karibu.
Branches to congratulate you and to your word now guarantees trust. It has extra significance. And so I want to urge you as you go out, whenever you give your word, you need to remember that that word is your bond. And one of the other things that I also want to ask you, because we're in the era of social media, is to recognize that the first tool of you marketing yourself as an advocate is your social media profile. So be careful from today henceforth what you put in your social media profile, how you call yourself on platforms such as Truecaller, because sometimes you are identified by some mischievous activity you conducted while you were in campus or at the Kenyan School of Law. So try and look into all that and amend it so that it can reflect a good professional. I do not know why most of you chose this profession. Perhaps it is your parents who chose it for you. But now that you've been admitted, I hope you will learn to embrace the challenges that are ahead of you and look at them not as challenges but as opportunities to develop a greater understanding of the law, a greater understanding of people, and a greater understanding of our place as advocates in the community and in the society in general. You have now a blank book before you on which to write the chapters of your life. And I want to ask you, because one of the things that gives profound meaning to life is death, to ask yourself at this time, as you go into the profession, when you die, what would you want people to say of you? Would you want them to remember you for your brilliant arguments in a BBI case? Would you want them to remember you for the flashy lifestyle, the big mansion that you build, your flashy cars? Or would you want them to remember you as a good human being? So it is the decisions that you will make on a day-to-day basis that will accumulate over time and have a lasting impact on the people around us. And that will be your legacy. So remember that you have that opportunity, and wherever you go, be it in private practice, be it in corporate practice, be it the judiciary or DPP or wherever you will go, always remember that behind the file, there is a person. Behind the file, there is a person. So do good to that person. Do justice to that person. I would also urge you, at this very early stage, to try and identify your career path. And once you're sure which path you want to undertake, to find a mentor. Find a mentor. Try and log into court when there are momentous arguments going on represented by very senior advocates if you're in litigation, so that you can be able to follow up and just pick a thing or two, because you learn. They say that iron sharpens iron, so you learn from those that have been ahead of you, from how they carry themselves, from how they conduct themselves, and from how they argue before court. It will help you a great deal. Remember also to protect your profession. You have a duty to protect your profession. You have a duty to participate in the activities of the profession. I challenge all of you, when you go to your branches, try as much as possible, get into the bar bench committees, the court users committees, get to understand the interplay and the relationship between the bar and the bench through the bar bench committees, and contribute your ideas towards improving the practice, because you are here for a longer period than those of us who have been ahead, who are ahead of you. So you have a duty and an obligation to invest in how you want your practice to be, and hopefully all of us can then discharge the oath that you have solemnly taken here today to serve justice without fear or favor. And in your personal life, and they say being married is hard enough, being married to a lawyer has its own unique set of challenges. I would want to ask all of you, just be a lawyer in the office. When you go home, you are a husband, you are a father, you are a mother, you are a wife. So try and look at a mix. Have something different that you do besides being a lawyer. Look for a hobby, something that you do to release the stress, because experience has shown that lawyers tend to get depressed a lot more than any other sector of the community. Lawyers tend to get into alcoholism more than any other sector of our society. So try to find a creative outlet for the stresses that you will handle, because that is the work of the lawyer. And in the words of Charles Dickens, he once said, if there were no bad people, then there would be no good lawyers. So your work, essentially, is to deal with these bad people so that you can become the good lawyers that you are and you have been trained and prepared for. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will end by quoting for you a saying that is so common from an author known as John W. Davis, that says, "True, we lawyers build no bridges, we raise no towers, we construct no engines, we paint no pictures except for our own principal amusement. There is little of what we do which the eye of man can see. But we smooth out difficulties, we relieve stress, we correct mistakes. We take up other men's burden, and by our efforts, we make possible the peaceful life of men in a peaceful state." So as you live here, that is your responsibility. Once again, I congratulate you and I welcome you to the profession. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, Mr. Deuri. I also recognize the presence of the CEO of LSK. I don't know where she's seated. Just wave to your people. If you can turn back, you'll see her. Mercy Wambua. Now I want to welcome the President of the Law Society of Kenya, Mr. Nelson Havi, to also give you pieces of advice. Karibu.
This may be my last and only secure public gathering where I can speak and be comfortable that outside there are no Subarus prepared to escort me, as they have done twice in my tenure as the president of the Law Society. Don't be afraid, I will not say Harambe. My Lady, the Chief Justice, and the President of the Supreme Court of the Republic of Kenya, my Lord Chief Justice Emeritus, my classmate and good friend, Charles Mutinda, who, if things go well, will appoint the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, my friend Victor Mule, from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, my very good Vice President from Alliance Girls, Caroline Daudi Kamende, my two council members, Herin Kabita, Esther Angawa, the three ladies who have stood with me for the last 2 years, members of the bar and of the bench, and friends, good morning. Today is the day that you've been waiting for a very long period of time. The first time we had an admission of advocates with Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga, it was a big problem. We had waited for almost 4 months because of the COVID pandemic. And when the Chief Justice called me and asked, can we do this virtually? I told him, my Lord, the Chief Justice, we can't do it virtually. Because there are certain punctuating events in the life of man that cannot be done virtually. You cannot be conceived virtually. You cannot be born virtually. You cannot be married virtually. You cannot be buried virtually. Because the admission to the bar is a solemn occasion. I therefore told him, look, we must give these young men and women the privilege and honor that they deserve as learned friends. It is for that reason, therefore, that we are assembled here for the first hearing that you have conducted in your life as advocates. You may not have noticed, but this is a hearing. Nowadays, we do our hearings online, where some of you may decide to attend court whilst you are in a salon, whilst in your opuk debe, or if you are privileged in the back seat of your low-altitude aircraft. But it is a hearing. And 30 years from now, you will be seated or standing here as the Chief Justice to admit advocates to the bar. 18 years from now, you may be standing here as the President of the Law Society of Kenya. It is therefore imperative that you understand what we are doing. The process of admission is provided for under the Advocates Act. It is a process in which the Chief Justice presides and the Law Society of Kenya presents. We have therefore presented you to court, and upon satisfaction as to your qualification, service, and moral fitness, your application to become an advocate has been allowed. Congratulations. A lot awaits you, success or failure. I want to encourage you to pursue the path of success. In your midst, there are many who have journeyed this course before you. Look upon them. Today I'm privileged to stand here with my classmate, Charles Mutinda. I won't tell you what we used to do when we were in Parklands because it's classified information. It may be written when I'm buried or cremated, but it will not be spoken about now. But it's an indicator to you. Find your career path. Distinguish yourself as a litigation lawyer. Well, I don't know if I'm a distinguished litigation lawyer. I'm often referred to in publications as the controversial lawyer. It's a good term. A few years ago, when I was handling a very important land matter, the notorious bloggers pushed a hashtag, Harvey the Rogue Lawyer. And I was extremely offended. Then when I searched what the rogue lawyer meant, I came across this novel by John Grisham, The Rogue Lawyer. How many have read The Rogue Lawyer? Wonderful. After reading The Rogue Lawyer, I discovered that being a rogue lawyer is not a bad thing after all. Well, if you have read The Rogue Lawyer. So I encourage you to distinguish yourself in the practice of law. You may find solace in working for the government as a state counsel. There is ample opportunities for growth in the office of the Attorney General, in the office of the Director of Public Prosecution. You've seen how they work. They play a fundamental role in the administration of justice. You may also decide to join the judiciary as early as now as a magistrate, at a later stage 10 years from now as a judge of the High Court, and do wonderful work as you always see being done. For instance, as is often done by my lady here, Justice Hedwig Ongudi. And you may progress to become a Court of Appeal judge, and perhaps the Chief Justice. All these are opportunities available to you. You see, they say I'm a politician. I don't know whether I am. I always call myself an elected leader instead of being a politician. And being an elected leader, you have a bigger platform than an appointed leader. Not that the latter is any less in their qualification or in the impact in the society. We are all the same. I want to tell you this. Today, you become learned friends. Before then, you're just lawyers. It is the beginning of learning. It is not the end of what you decide to be. When I was at the University of Nairobi studying law, my jurisprudence professor and very good friend, because we could often walk from Parklands to Maine together after a strike, and there was no room for people to move by road. This is what he told us. A good lawyer is not one who knows the entire law. A good lawyer is one who knows where to find the law. And for you to effectively find and apply the law, you must continue reading. You know, the only commodity that you will sell henceforth will be your time. And this time will be manifest in two ways. One, in the manner in which you write, and two, in the manner in which you speak. That is why we call this a noble profession. It is our speech, it is our writing that will earn you an income. Whilst at it, remember two things. It is a vocation. So you must endeavor to serve the society. But don't forget one thing, it is also a business. How many have children? Oh, wonderful. For those without children, ensure you have two, a boy and a girl. Name the girl Sue and name the boy Bill. Do you know why? Whenever you sue, you must bill. You must bill for you to succeed. Don't forget your law when you become a state counsel in the office of the Attorney General, when you become a prosecutor, when you become a magistrate. Often we are exposed to a lot of embarrassment when we appear before courts and you see a decision being made without consideration for the law. It is very important. It is very important. Yesterday, the Honorable Chief Justice swore into office many magistrates. Yesterday, and I must say this because I'm an elected leader, we saw a magistrate give a cash bail of 2 million for an offense that attracts a fine of 1 million. There is a problem. And my lady, the Chief Justice, I must tell you this. You must encourage your magistrate and judges to read. We do not want a repeat of what used to happen when Justice Riaga Omolo, Justice Kwach, and Akumi will say, we make an order that our ruling or judgment be personally served upon the judge so that she does not repeat this mistake. Have you ever read that decision? We don't want this because Kenya is a country governed by the rule of law. And the person with the highest responsibility of upholding the rule of law and ensuring that there is administration of justice is you and I, these people and these people. Why do I say so? On an occasion like this, Chief Justice Emeritus David Kenani Maraga said, the biggest casualty when the rule of law fails is you and I, lawyers, judges, and magistrates. Do you know why? If Kenya was to descend into chaos, will doctors suffer? No. They will have so many people to treat. Will engineers suffer? No. They will have so many machines to assemble to assist the war. But there will be no courts for us to practice. You understand? We must therefore stand firm in upholding the rule of law and the administration of justice. You know, like my grandfather, Fidel Castro, I'm accustomed to speaking for 2 hours. But I do not have 2 hours to speak to you. Let me recommend to you 3 books that will be good as you venture into this perilous path. There is a book written by a distinguished defense attorney, Lee Bailey. It is called The Defense Never Rests. Find it and read it if you want to be a good litigation lawyer. There is a book written by Professor Daniel Goleman. It's called Emotional Intelligence. It will help you in knowing how to deal with the people. There is a book written by Professor Robert Carnegie, How to Make Friends and Influence People. It will enable you better your communication skills and how to deal with people. Friends, I want to welcome you to the bar. You join the bar at a tipping point where the rule of law faces the greatest challenge we've ever faced in our history, where there is a deliberate effort to dismember and destroy the Constitution, where institutions anchored in the Constitution do not perform their work because they are being manipulated. The Constitution of Kenya is very transformative, it's very accommodative, and it has given a lot of opportunities for lawyers to participate in upholding the rule of law and the administration of justice. I want you to play a pivotal role in doing so. And even as you do that, don't forget that the function of the Law Society of Kenya is not limited to issuing you with a practicing certificate. Because for a considerable period of time before I assumed office, that was the work of the Law Society of Kenya. But today, as I look forward to leaving office, and I propose to leave before the 24th of March, so that I can go and concentrate on more important things, having achieved that which I undertook to achieve on behalf of the advocates and the people of Kenya in my capacity as the president of the Law Society. We have ensured that the practice environment for lawyers is conducive. Lawyers are nowadays respected because we stood firm. We have ensured that the executive is checked. We have ensured that the independence of the judiciary is protected, whilst at the same time there is accountability. We have checked the excesses of the executive. We have ensured that Parliament acts within the confines of the law and the Constitution and makes laws that better the well-being of the people of Kenya. I will mention what we did to effectuate the two-third gender principle, resulting in the advisory by the Chief Justice Emeritus for the dissolution of Parliament. Parliament may not be dissolved, but that is an achievement, so that you, female advocates joining the profession, will have an equal opportunity for appointive and elective officers. We stood firm with these 3 ladies when the Law Society was compromised and could not be used to challenge the BBI bill. The 4 of us fought day and night in Parliament and before these courts to protect the Constitution. It is my belief, as I leave office, you take into account these fundamental developments. Of course, you may be eligible to participate in the elections so that you choose the people who will succeed me. I want to ask you to choose people with integrity, individuals who are capable of serving you. You cannot serve as president of the Law Society of Kenya unless you are distinguished in the practice of law, unless you have a firm one that we can look to and say, this gentleman, this lady will serve us in the manner in which he has served himself. Because in public service, you will never be able to serve the people unless you're able to serve yourself effectively. Take this into consideration. Because of the restrictions we have, I will not invite you for lunch or a drink, as it used to be the practice several years before. But I wish you the very best. I welcome you. I encourage you. Feel free to call upon us. Feel free to look for guidance. Prosper and succeed. Make us proud, so that 18 years from now, one of you will stand here and speak as the President of the Law Society of Kenya. So that 30 years from now, one of you will stand here and admit advocates to the bar. God bless you abundantly.
Thank you, Mr. Avi. As you have heard, the defense never sleeps. I think that's what he said. But I also think that the prosecution never sleeps. And to confirm that, I want to welcome a representative of the DPP. I hope he will not challenge my statement. Karibu.
To the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court and the former CJ, Dr. Willie Mutunga, the Deputy Registrar of the Judiciary, the representative of the Honorable Attorney General, and the President of the Law Society of Kenya, and the members of the Law Society of Kenya present, as well as the CEO and the officers from the Judiciary. Good morning. I'm Victor Mule. I represent the Director of Public Prosecutions, who sends his congratulations to the newly admitted advocates on your admission. The DPP also sends special congratulations to those of you who undertook their pupillage in the office of the DPP, as well as several employees of the ODPP who are getting admitted today. Please receive the messages from the DPP. Your admission today as advocates, all of you, is testament that the efforts you have put in your training, in your education, and in your exams are paid off. But as you get admitted, the admission comes with obligations. There are obligations which you are called upon to abide to 3 categories of people whom you are going to interact with in the legal profession. You will interact with the public whom you are going to serve as clients if you are in private sector or even in the public sector. You will interact secondly with the judicial officers in different ranks. And lastly, you will interact with your fellow colleagues, of course, in different aspects. And in your interactions with all these categories, there are obligations, as I have said. To the public, please give your best. Give the best professional advice, even if it is not what the client wants to hear. Give them the correct legal position, the best professional advice. And give out your best, whether it is in court for contentious matters or in chambers for non-contentious matters. You should always give the best advice in accordance with the law, of course. Before judicial officers, you should exude courtesy, and you should always have it as your cardinal mission before you go to court to prepare. And you should note that failure to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. That is the principle in court. You should go to court prepared. Judicial officers do not take it kindly when you appear before them and make frivolous applications whether for adjournments or whether frivolous arguments which are not backed by any law or any precedent, they don't take it kindly. You will also not be performing your duty as a legal person. To fellow advocates whom you are going to interact with on an almost daily basis, you have the code of conduct for advocates. You have been taught professional ethics. I know you took notes. Those notes, I know most of you took them for purposes of exams. You should retrieve those notes, download the code of conduct for advocates, and make it part of your library. You should make it part of it should be in your briefcase always. Lastly, as I sit down, you are welcome to join the ODPP as prosecution counsel, as legal researchers, or in any other capacities. And I welcome you to the legal profession. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mule. Now I welcome Mr. Charles Mutinda, representing the Office of the Attorney General.
My lady, the Chief Justice of Kenya and the President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, my Lord, the Deputy Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, Chief Justice Emeritus, President of the Law Society of Kenya, Deputy President, Vice President of the Law Society of Kenya, the President, Nairobi Law Society branch, council members present, judge, I can see you, new advocates, you are now learned friends. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. My friend, the president of the Law Society, had somehow touched on who I am. My name is Charles Mutinda. I represent the Attorney General in this occasion, and the Honorable Attorney General presents his congratulations to yourselves. Do you receive them? And on that account, he welcomes you to the bar. Remember, in your reading, expansive reading, of course, you've been told that the Attorney General is the titular head of the bar. So he welcomes you to the bar and asks that all that you've learned, you continue perfecting it. Now, a lot has been said by those who have spoke before me, but I just want to touch on part of the order that was made by the Honorable, the Lady Chief Justice. And it pricked me that the order that was made admitting you as advocates was based on your satisfaction as to qualifications, as to service, and as to moral fitness. As you move forward and as you start your career, remember that oath, remember that order. And you've been told that it's an order that you will not expect again. Of course, it will be among many other orders that you'll be receiving as you move forward. But we've seen us who have been there for quite some time, and of course also yourselves, you read in the papers, you see it in the media. Some of yourselves who have stained the moral fitness part, please don't be part of them. Please don't be part of them. You've been told about the obligations of an advocate. Remember them. I don't want to heckle them because they are part of the professional ethics that we learn. All that I want to urge you on my part, on the part of the Office of the Attorney General, is to maintain integrity and ethics, because that is how you will avoid staining the moral fitness that was the basis of your admission today. Lastly, I want to invite you, and it has been said here, that there are so many opportunities within the public service. The whole DPP is there, the Hedges office is there, and I'm sure there are quite a number of yourselves who did pupillage with us. Congratulate you. So congratulate the rest. So continue looking for opportunities in those areas, even the judiciary itself. The president has said, 18 years from now, you could be standing here as myself. 30 years from now, you could be standing here admitting other advocates, the Chief Justice. Look forward to that. Allow me to welcome you to the bar, to welcome you to the advocacy profession. And as you proceed, remember the oath that has been made, that you've took, and the basis of the order that has been made for you. Thank you so much. Congratulations, and all the best.
Thank you, Mr. Mutinda. And now I want to welcome the Deputy Chief Registrar of the Judiciary to make his remarks, and thereafter welcome the Chief Justice.
Thank you very much, Honorable Wanjala, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya and President of the Supreme Court, the Honorable Justice Martha Koome, Chief Justice Emeritus, the Honorable Dr. Willie Mutunga, the President of the Law Society of Kenya, Nelson Havi, the representatives of the Honorable Attorney General's Office, Mr. Mutinda, the representative of the Office of the Director, Public Prosecutions, Mr. Mule, council members of the Law Society, the representative of the Nairobi branch chair, actually the chair, Mr. Eric Theuri, the Honorable Justice Hedwig Ongudi, newly admitted advocates. Good morning. Indeed, this is a great day for all of us, but especially for you, because it marks a milestone in your life, and we want to encourage you to take your responsibility as you become an advocate. This is a very solemn responsibility. It is a high calling. Indeed, it is a privilege to be an advocate. I was just reflecting about my admission to the bar about 2 decades ago, and I remembered what a solemn occasion it was, and fast-tracking to my practice of the law. I remembered a few years ago when I was coming to work, and one very early morning at about 5:30, just getting myself to work, and I was under tremendous pressure of work. And as I was driving to work that day, I got to a place and I saw these sand harvesters. You know, sand harvesters, these trucks that ferry sand. 5:30 in the morning, and there were these people by the side who are ready to, you know, jump. They wait for these trucks that have gotten sand from the riverbeds, and these people were just waiting for the trucks to jump on. And as I saw a few of them jump on, I thought to myself, wow, these people must be having a very difficult life. 5:30 in the morning, I'm comfortable in my car, I'm coming to work, I have a job to do. But as soon as I thought that, I also started to pity myself. I said, well, their life may look uncomfortable, but the kind of pressure that I feel right now, the kind of burden I am carrying right now, the kind of responsibility that is on my shoulders to execute as a lawyer is so heavy. And for a moment I felt I would have gladly changed places with those young men who were waiting for the trucks and jump on, because I thought their life is very straightforward. You know, just wait for the truck with your spade, jump onto that vehicle, go and, you know, dispatch that sand, After that, get your 300, 500 shillings, and then go home, enough money for the day, and that's all. You are not thinking about preparing some applications. You are not thinking about, other heavy legal responsibilities. But as soon as that thought came to me, another thought came to me. And this was the thought: to whom much is given, much is required. And I thought to myself, these gentlemen did not choose of themselves to be where they were. I was privileged to go to school. I was privileged to study law. And here I am, having been given responsibilities, and I have an option to decide and say, I'm going to make the most of it. And that was a very important turning point in my perspective about the responsibility that I held then and that I hold now. That this is a calling, this is a privilege. Not everybody gets this opportunity. And what is important for each of us is to ask, what is it that I can do for my community? John F. Kennedy, in his very famous speech, said that do not ask yourself, what can my country do for me? But rather, what is it that I can do for my country? And I want to urge you, my brothers and sisters, that there is something that you and I can do for our country. This is a high calling, this is a high privilege, and there is something that we can do. With those few remarks, I congratulate you on your admission to become advocates, and I wish you the very best and God's blessings. It's now my humble duty and privilege to welcome the Honorable the Attorney General to come and make her remarks. My lady. I'm sorry, the Honorable the Chief Justice.
Very much, Honorable Demo. May we be seated. Allow me to recognize in a very special way the Chief Justice, retired Dr. Willie Mutunga, who has graced this occasion this morning. My sister, the Honorable Lady Justice Edwin Ongudi. Allow me also to bring you greetings from the Deputy Chief Justice and the Vice President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, the Honorable Lady Justice Philomena Mwiru, who wanted to be here today, if you have seen the program, but she had a clash with the travel arrangements when she is going to undertake another official engagement. I recognize the representative of the Attorney General's office, Mr. Mutinda, the representative of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Mr. Mule. I recognize the President of the Law Society, Mr. Nelson Avi, the Deputy Vice President of the Law Society and the Council members present, and also the Chairman of the Nairobi region and the Chair of the Law Society Regional Caucuses, and all the invited guests, family, all of us present, distinguished guests, honorable, learned friends who have been admitted to the role of advocates this morning. Good morning. Good morning once more. We greet people many times from where I come from because we like to connect with a greeting. But before I speak, please allow me to ask with utmost humility our retired Chief Justice, Dr. Willie Mutunga, who has played a critical role in the legal profession and whom we all respect so much for the work that he has done to defend the rule of law, to defend the Constitution, to defend the institutions, to say something to you. Please, my brother.
Good morning. I'm not going to say anything except to bless you. If you want to stand, I'll bless you in Gikamba. Makamba elder now. Or you can also sit. Listen. Okay, let me do this in Kikamba, all right? I can translate it after that. Don't you want my blessings? Okay, and this is the blessing. Mulungu mumbi mwatu wangi ola webinya wonde amwathime kila ivinda. Amen. So all I'm saying is that the Almighty God, the Creator, who is so powerful, bless you always. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that blessing. And thank you all the previous speakers for those very kind and profound words of encouragement spoken to our newly admitted advocates. Allow me to congratulate you most warmly on signing the role of advocates as officers. Now we have asked the Attorney General to amend the law to say that you are officers of the Supreme Court and other courts below. I've been in office for about 7 months, and I've admitted over 1,000 advocates to the role of advocates. And every time I stand here, it's a very emotional moment for me, a very momentous occasion for me, because it reminds me that 4 years ago, I sat where you were. I sat having qualified, as you have qualified, a daughter of a peasant, having married Harley, a mother of one. I saw some of you say you have children, and expecting another one. And all I carried was hope and faith. And I'm just here now to confess that you have made the best choice, because the legal profession is a great profession. I also dare say Kenya is a great country to serve, because all I did is carrying that faith and hope. I never imagined that the daughter of a peasant, one who married Harley, joined the profession. As I sat there and listened to now Dr. Friend Ojiambo, who is the chairman of the Senior Council Bar, speak, I wondered whether I would even summon the courage to speak. Today, I am the Chief Justice, just to tell you that the legal profession is a great one, and the country that we live in is also a great country of possibilities. As everybody has said, today marks an important moment in your life. Admission to the role of advocates is a turning point for you. And as you join this profession, we say it and we mean it. All these speakers who have said, we see the future in you. We see the future of the leadership of this country in you. We see the leadership of the institutions in you. And I also see champions of just causes and transformative leadership in you. Today marks a transition from a period focused on studies in preparation for admission to the bar to being able to practice what you have been studying. Of course, this does not mean that the period of studies come to an end. I thank the President for giving you reference material that will continue to encourage you on how you fit in the society. You will be called learned friends that you have earned because you are expected to continuously study as a member of the bar. The law is ever evolving, and the ideal advocates must keep abreast with the law and other developments in the society. I want to use this opportunity to share with you my reflections on the role of advocates in promoting access to justice, because that is what I am very passionate about since we launched the vision of the judiciary, which is transforming the society through access to justice. I'm also very fond of our Constitution, 2010, that embraces an ambitious objective of creating a socially just state and society. It means that we Kenyans consider justice as a universal good, and the law should be honest to ensure justice to all. I remind myself of Article 48 of the Constitution, which signals that access to justice is a fundamental right. It follows that it is a constitutional imperative that advocates like yourselves will be priests in the temples of justice, which is what courts are. We are temples of justice, and this was said by none other than our retired Chief Justice, Dr. Willy Mutunga. Therefore, we ought to be champions of access to justice for all, especially the vulnerable in our society. If there is anybody who needs justice, it is the vulnerable. Access to justice is usually conceived to involve bringing claims to court or defending such claims. Although litigants can represent themselves in court, effective representation usually demands representation by competent advocates, and that is what you are. Let nobody play around with your youth or lack of experience. You are properly trained, and you have earned this status of advocates of the Supreme Court. The cost of legal representation, however, tends to be high, and that's often out of reach for most litigants, especially the vulnerable members of our society, such as the elderly, children, persons living with disabilities, members of the minority, and marginalized groups among us. Given the reality that most of our people, especially the vulnerable, are still excluded from enjoying the benefits of competent legal representation, advocates must be ready to go a step further than expected in other developed jurisdictions to ensure that these vulnerable members of our society access justice. This involves taking steps to provide legal services and legal advice to people who would not otherwise afford them. By doing so, you will be addressing the justice gap that exists in our society today and contributing to the betterment of our nation. I spent a better part of my practice as an advocate giving pro bono legal aid, but I never lacked, because every time I spent a whole day representing a pro bono client, I would go to my chambers and find a good brief waiting for me. God knows how to balance it. So don't shy away from giving pro bono advice and representation. An advocate committed to promoting access to justice is one who is driven by and conducts themselves in conformity with the values of the profession, who also follows social ethics and professional ethics. Such an advocate must be active participant in the process of developing, the constitutionally decreed indigenous social justice jurisprudence by availing to judges and judicial officers arguments and relevant legal material on the latest learning in the law. In addition, an advocate committed to access to justice must be part of finding solutions to the problems of the case backlog and delayed delivery of justice that bedevils our justice system. This involves resisting the temptation, first of all, to apply for unnecessary adjournments and to delay hearing of cases. The legal profession now are changed. Yesterday I was admitting or swearing in 65 magistrates who joined the judiciary. And we have moved from the old practice of allowing adjournments of matters. We have moved from the practice where the cases were controlled and managed by the lawyers. We have come to a stage where we say the lawyers manage their law firms, their law offices. When they file matters in court, or even litigants, when they file matters in court, the court will manage the case. The case will be subjected to active case management. It will be prepared for hearing. And during the hearing, three things will happen. It will either be heard, it will be dismissed if the parties do not want to move on with the case, or the parties will have an opportunity to withdraw it from the court. So this is the new normal now. Moreover, an advocate committed to access to justice ought to embrace the constitutionally envisaged shift to focusing on the merit of cases rather than focusing on unnecessary interlocutory and technical applications that only contribute to the delay in the resolution of cases. In other words, you need to intellectually engage with the matter and ask yourselves, which is the best way to find a lasting solution to this dispute that is before the court? Is it to call the witnesses, hear the matter, get a resolution once and for all, if it's from a magistrate's court, and if you are dissatisfied, you move to the High Court, and so on and so on. Lastly, advocates committed to access to justice should embrace the multi-door approach to delivery of justice. This one recognizes the utility of the small claims courts that we are rolling out now, where a case is determined within 60 days. It also involves alternative systems of justice, where you involve the parties themselves to find solutions for the problems that they face, and alternative dispute resolutions, such as court-annexed mediation, and in redressing all these grievances. Because the same way we encounter disputes, we have the capacity ourselves, those who are faced with those disputes, to find solutions. So our social transformation that we are talking about through access to justice is also empowering the litigants to take charge of their own destiny and their own problems and find ways of resolving the problems that they face through the multi-door approaches. I will also speak briefly about personal ethics, because there are two concerns that should inform the conduct of an advocate who is committed to access to justice. The first one is civility, and I think the previous speakers have alluded to this, and you have even been given up 2 books that will broaden your knowledge on this personal ethics that deal with civility in your interaction with members of the bench and colleagues in the bar. It does not at all pay to be discourteous to the colleagues or even to the court. It brings anger to you, and anger brings pain, and there's no need in engaging in that. Just be civil. The concern here is that while robust engagement expressing different opinion and different point of view is encouraged and should be embraced, we should always learn to disagree with respect and with humility. The second concern related to personal ethics is about ethics in your financial dealings. Unfortunately, we have had cases in the past that involve unethical advocates who deprive clients the proceeds from the either conveyancing or litigation, accident claims, briefs they handle on behalf of the client. Some examples in this regard include those advocates who deprive victims of road accidents the compensation awarded by courts, and those who deprive widows and orphans inheritance from the estates of their deceased family members. With the blessing decreed by the retired Chief Justice who has blessed you to find success, and all these great senior speakers who have spoken to you, I believe and I trust that we will not have a single case of misconduct among this congregation. You will all succeed. In running ethical practices, because that is what is sustainable. Shortcuts will never be sustainable. I hope yours will be the generation of advocates that puts a stop to such practices, and no one from this lot of advocates will also be struck off the advocates law that you have signed today. You have worked very, very hard to be in this role of advocates. Therefore, every day you wake up, you must think of how you will distinguish yourself and how you'll never mess yourself so that your name can be removed from this role of advocates because of professional misconduct. Lastly, running colleagues, in terms of social ethics, an advocate committed to access to justice ought to contribute socially beneficial services to the society. There is so much you can do. Everywhere I turn, people say, oh, the legal profession is flooded. There are over 20,000 of you. And for me, this is just a drop in the bucket. There is so much waiting out there for you to do. I urge you to be ready to go the extra mile to ensure that even serving the vulnerable, the societies where you live, there are young people waiting to be mentored. Those who belong to churches or the mosque, there are people willing to be encouraged, to be mentored. The example of victims of gender-based violence, we've been talking of even opening special courts, and we are working very hard as the judiciary to open special courts to deal with these gender-based violence cases so that they are dealt with expeditiously. So there is room for you to work in the judiciary, to work in the legal profession in many ways, to go into business, to work with civil society, to deal with children and persons dealing with disability, living with disability. The sky is the limit for you to work and ensure there is access to justice. And whatever you do, justice and fairness is always central. In this day and age where inequality is rampant, I urge you to choose to be compassionate advocates. Whatever you do, do with compassion. We ought to practice law not for ourselves, but for others, our communities and our nation. The profession is meant not to enrich its members, but to promote justice and equal opportunity for all. And once you do that, riches will also follow you. I urge you to always stay true to your core values. Never surrender your conscience to wrongdoings. Do not forget to be kind to others. Be respectful, be compassionate. Always stay true to the morals and never forget to show kindness in all your dealings. Be the advocate who does his or her work for the betterment of other people, especially the vulnerable in the society. In conclusion, my plea to you is that your work should be informed by the goal and desire to promote access to justice to all. In addition, you should conduct yourselves in a manner that upholds the professional ethics. And allow me to congratulate you and to tell you that you look so sharp and smart today. All of you. And this is what we expect of you, because many come to court after this and forget how to robe. So when we say we cannot see you, they look around because they borrowed the bib on the way to court. So please remember the way you robed today is what we expect you to be when you appear before us, because we love to see people who are well prepared, like you have been told, and ready for the day. And preparedness begins with your appearance. And before I sit down, allow me to recognize in a very, very special way sorry for that, all of you for this achievement. And really, I would like to connect with each one of you, because I'm also new as the Chief Justice. I want to work with all of you, all the people that have issued the order of the admission. I want to feel like we were walking this journey together. So I congratulate you and recognize all of you and your families for this effort. I also wish to acknowledge Henry Mulinzuki. Is he here? He's a nephew to the Honorable Chief Justice retired, Dr. Willy Mutunga. And that's why the Honorable retired judge came here to grace this occasion. It means that he inspired somebody in the family to join the profession, and we are very, very grateful for that. Thank you. Allow me also to recognize Irene Cherop Masit, who is an IBC commissioner. She has worked and studied, I think, in old age, while working and while taking over other roles as a mother, as a daughter-in-law, and all that other roles that we play in the society. And she has become an advocate of the High Court, and she's serving at the Independent Electoral Boundaries IBC. She's working as an IBC commissioner. We recognize you. Allow me also to recognize Michelle Kemumo Omwonyo, who is a niece to Honorable Sharon Mwanyuri, Senior Resident Magistrate, who works in the Chief Registrar's Office. You have all seen Honorable Sharon Mwanyuri preparing for this event, and as she works with the judiciary, as she carries herself along as a lawyer, she has inspired somebody in her family to join the profession. There is also Mercy Makila, who is sister to Honorable Makila, our principal magistrate, serving in Kitare Law Courts. When people serve in the judiciary and they inspire somebody to join the profession, we feel like that person also belongs to us. Brenda Atieno is brought up by Honorable Justice Nzioki wa Makau, who has mentored her because she's an orphan, but God has enabled her to get parents and people to walk around this journey, and one of them being Honorable Justice Nzioki wa Makau. I also recognize Bruce Sandebari, who is a nephew to the Honorable Lady Justice Ongundi, my sister judge, who has committed all her life and professional life as a career, a judicial officer, a judge of the High Court, has also been able to inspire a member of her family to join the profession, and I hope you will follow the footsteps of this great judge. I also recognize Patrova Mishieka Omwenga, who is Professor Omwenga's son, and we value and respect and celebrate Professor Omwenga because he helped us with ICT, and you can see where he has helped us take our technology. Now we conduct our proceedings virtually. We file our papers online. For that, we recognize you, Patrova, and hope also that you follow the footsteps of Professor Omwenga. I also recognize Grace Mukonya Kara, who is a niece to Mase Wambua. Mase Wambua is the CEO of the Law Society of Kenya, and he helps us to process your practicing certificates and make sure that all is well between the Office of the Registrar in terms of the practicing certificates. Last but not least, I also recognize Tambo Gesale. This one we celebrate because she is our staff at Milimani Records. She has worked, educated herself as a court assistant to take this oath today as an advocate. We respect you and we celebrate you. I thank all of you. I wish you all the best. I bless you, and I know you will meet success every day of your life. God bless you.
Thank you, my lady, the Honorable the Chief Justice, and all our distinguished guests for the advice. I hope you've taken in everything, and congratulations to you for the admission. I also want to thank the team that made this possible, a big team from the Office of the Chief Registrar, starting with the Deputy Chief Registrar, Honorable Sharon Mwayuli, Honorable Joseph Were, Mr. Ken Ogutu, don't know where he is, Ken Ogutu, and the entire admissions team headed by Eunice. I know you've really, they've made sure that the communication reaches you and that all the paperwork is in order. Thank you so much. We've come to the end of this session. We will have a photo session if the Chief Justice allows. So I request that we be up and standing for our final prayer today, the first stanza of the Kenya National Anthem. Thank you. Thank you so much. You may be seated. I request the Chief Justice to take the stairs for purpose of the photo session.
How are we feeling? Thank you. Congratulations. So we want to do a photo session as the Chief Justice and the guests arrange themselves. We'll start with the team that had a special recognition from the Chief Justice. So kindly Barry, Nzuki, Michelle, all, please let us move faster. Then you come back and resume your seats so that we'll now start going in the batches of 25 to ensure that we all fit in the photo session. And those of us who have escortees, please, you can join in those photos quickly. Then we'll start the first 25, we'll start the first row, the second row, and let us make it fast so that we don't have to put the Chief Justice on the sun. Once again, congratulations.